Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Player Issue Podcast, episode 16. I'm your host, Aaron Warwick. I forgot to do that last time, actually. I had to just shove it in there. With me today, as always, is the lovely Emma. Emma, what is wrong with you?
The David Mundy episode.
It is, yes. Should have pulled out the full David Mundy collection on episode 16.
Hang on, just be back. I'll get my boyfriend.
Em's taken off. Where is she? Oh. She's stealing my Mundy. Oh, I've gone all white again. This is ruining the place. What is happening? Okay.
It's the David Mundy episode.
Oh, well, we can see his junk, so that's good. All right, well, okay. Em's decided to rearrange the furniture. Looks weird on the wall behind me over there now. But, okay, it's David Mundy episode. What? David Mundy episode, this one. Yeah, all right, that happened. We're a bit loosey-goosey already, aren't we?
Repeat it. It was so good.
We say
Do we have to just start this whole episode all over again?
We've already started twice. All right, this is the David Mundy episode 16, which Em decided that it was now a David Mundy episode. Oh, technically it is. And I do have 50 David Mundy jumpers. Could have pulled them all out for this episode, but I didn't think of that at all. No.
Shocking. You call yourself a David Mundy fan.
Yeah, well, he's no longer wearing the mighty purple and white anymore. He's actually wearing whatever colour he can put on.
He's also in the background.
He is. See him behind my head. Yeah, he's wearing whatever colour wants to take him for a week. So I think he's playing. We played at Dunsborough Sharks a couple of weeks ago. So he's wearing the blue and white. As Em actually just covered over there, the blue and white.
Oh, sorry.
The blue and white Sharks, Dunsborough Sharks. He wore his number 16 as well, though. So, and yes, before you'll ask, I did try to get it as well.
Of course you did.
I emailed the Dunsborough Sharks as soon as the game finished. And unfortunately, they're framing it and putting it on the wall in their clubhouse for all to enjoy.
But you.
Screw them all! Should only be for me to enjoy and anyone who comes in the cave. But no.
And saying that, you're wearing the Old Bull Young Buck jumper too.
Yeah, we keep it alive. The favourite podcast.
You really didn't think about this David Mundy episode too well, did you?
Not at all. No.
Disgusting.
Yep. Keep alive the old podcast there. It's now just extinct because of both Dave and Griff moving on. Sad days, but we are continuing on their legacy. Em, this is technically our first episode back.
Yeah.
Properly.
Per episode, yeah.
After our holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, don't turn off yet. Well, we are loosey-goosey so far. This is going to be a regular episode. We're back to the fun stuff. We'll do viewer questions. We'll do feedback. We'll do what's in the cave. All the good stuff that you missed out on for those 13 weeks since the last time we did this. So, we have written a show out. And it's gone black on me, so I can't actually see it. But Em, do you have any feedback from last week's dual freaking extravaganza of a holiday episode?
Yeah, I got feedback. Let's not do that again.
From who?
Well, it took forever to do.
Yeah.
And then I had to hear about it from you for the next 4 days, being like, this is taking forever to fucking... And I'm like, well, don't put so many pictures in it. I have to. Everyone wants to see it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So let's not do that again.
Yeah. I'd rather not.
I want to say a good 16 hours went into that podcast.
Yeah, well, it did. No, actually, technically more than that, because it took 3.5 hours to record it originally, and then it took me 14 hours to edit it over 2 days. 14 hours. Started at 9 p.m. one night and finished 6 a.m. the next morning. And non-stop. I didn't come out of the cave at all except to get a drink maybe.
Best sleep of my life.
I rolled into bed and then rolled out to go to work. Yeah, so it was a very, very, very strenuous episode to do. But hopefully you all enjoyed it. We haven't got as many views on that one as our old episodes. However, obviously, not everyone wants to see us going on holiday. They want to hear about the fun stuff, which is good because we're back to talk about the fun stuff. The one thing that I forgot, we actually forgot to talk about two things. Actually, really surprising. I think one of the reasons is because by the second part, well, we ran out of time, yeah, because by the second part, it was after midnight, and we needed to go to bed for work the next day. So we were starting to rush through things. So we kind of skipped over a couple of things. We actually didn't talk about the fact that we went to the Mighty Ducks or to Anaheim Ducks, which was really cool. I did throw a couple of photos in there, as you would have seen if you watched the episode. That was a really cool experience. We've been to the Golden Knights game, Vegas Golden Knights in 2019, which was more of a production than a hockey game. Because if you've ever been to Vegas, you know it's just a big show. There's always something going on, cabaret shows, comedy shows, anything. But it's all got to be over the top and extravagant. And this is exactly what the Golden Knights games were. They were over the top, just a full-on sword in the stone show, which was really cool. But when it came to the hockey, the fans didn't really make much noise. It's probably because they weren't really there for the hockey. They were there for the show. By the time the game started, they didn't really know what was going on or weren't really a fan of the game or a fan of the two teams playing. They were just there to see it, or just foreigners like us and just went because we could go to a game of hockey. Whereas we went to the Ducks game and it was a completely different experience. The crowd was super loud. Even their team sucked. They were one of the bottom teams and the Winnipeg Jets were one of the top teams. But the crowd was going off, having a good time. We got a puck from the game, which was really, really cool. We've actually got 2 pucks now. We got one from the Golden Knights warm-up as well, and then we got one from the Ducks game, which is awesome. Saw a few goals this time, and it got a bit close until Winnipeg scored a couple of goals in a row, and then it was over. But overall, it was a really good experience, really good fun. We really enjoyed that. Would definitely recommend going to an NHL game. You going to say something?
Just,
yeah. The other thing we forgot, which was pretty big, was WrestleCon. I don't know how the hell I forgot about WrestleCon. Again, I think we were just rushing it. But we did 2 days of WrestleCon. So Friday and Saturday morning. Yeah, Friday, Saturday morning was like 9 a.m. till 2 p.m., I think. First thing we did was try and meet Goldberg, which was pretty cool. If you follow our socials, you would have seen that we did get to meet Goldberg. But we went into that room and the lines were massive.
Such a disorganized line too.
Yeah, like a lot of things.
It was like a snake.
It was so weird.
So disorganized.
Most of the other wrestlers just have a table and they have just a straight line. But Goldberg, obviously being a huge name, and Ric Flair as well, had their own separate hall. And then, yeah, it just snaked around this room, chairs and tables, and then down the stairs and out. And it was just awkward and weird. Well, we sat in that line for over 2 hours. And then Goldberg decided he wanted to go and say hello to people.
He went and did photos.
So, he was, yeah, okay. So he was supposed to just go do photos. So he had scheduled photos. So he went off to do his photos, and Em said, I'll go. You can go and have a look at the other rooms, and I'll just sit here in line. So I said, all right. So off I went, told all around the rest of the rooms. It was in a hotel, so it was massive. And this WrestleCon thing is there's wrestlers in the whole place, just everywhere, spread out. So you can go and meet all these people, pay them cash and get a photo or autograph or whatever they got. So I went around, had a look, met a couple of people by myself that Em wouldn't have wanted to meet anyway. And I noticed Goldberg was going around to every table as well, saying hello to all the people that were in other rooms. So I get it, but we were all sitting there for a couple of hours. And then he made us wait for another hour at least, because we were only 4 or 5 people from the front when he needed to go do his photos. It was a good hour. And I came back to him. I said, he hasn't even gone to do his photos yet. He's still talking to people. So people were hearing us and we were getting annoyed. A few people did actually walk off. But we're like, no, we're going to stick it through. We're going to meet Goldberg. And when he came back in, it was amazing. Actually, meeting Goldberg was really cool.
Mm.
The guy that was attending to him was telling him to hurry up.
Was the most pushiest so-and-so ever.
He was trying to get everybody in line to hurry up, like go, go, go. But Goldberg took his time with us. We probably spent a good 5 minutes, I reckon, talking to him about his trips to Australia. And yeah, it was just a really good experience meeting him. He was a really nice guy. It was really nice to you and signed my belt for me. But yeah, that was really cool. And then we met a bunch of other people. I think the very next person we went to go see was Enzo.
Mm.
We've spoken about how we met Enzo Amore in 2019, and we just got engaged, and he spent 15 minutes with us. Well, we went to him this time. There was actually no one there for him at all. And he spent a good 20-odd minutes again talking to us. He saw my belt, which you can see over in the back there, the back corner, behind my head. He saw I was holding that, and he looked and said, "Oh, that's cool." And then he looked again, he double took it, because on the belt I actually had custom made his side plates, which never got released. So he won that belt not too long before he got released on WWE. So those side plates that he had on his belt were never released to public. So I had them custom made, put on the belt, and then I actually put up a post on Twitter a couple of months before we left and said, "This is ready to meet Enzo." And he liked it, which I thought was cool as hell to start with. But then when he saw it in person, he just went nuts, didn't he?
Yeah, he loved it.
He just went off. He's like, "Look at this over here." And he's like, "I'm going to sign this belt for free," which I thought was really cool.
Mm. But he didn't just sign it. Like, it's covered
Yeah.
in all these sayings. Like, it's signed, but yeah, obviously his character had like multiple sayings. So he's put every single one of those sayings on there. And he really thought about it too.
Mm.
And he stood there for ages and he's like, anything else? Anything I've missed? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
pretty good.
amazing experience. Enzo Amore, one of the great ones, I think, and really, really disappointing that he hasn't got his way back to WWE, because I think he deserved a second shot, deserved another run.
Don't think he wants to be.
Well, I don't know. He actually made a little comment to us that got
did,
me a little bit excited. Made it sound as though he'll be at Raw and coming back to WWE that week, but didn't happen. I think he was just playing with us a little bit. But we also got there a pair of shorts off him, which he'd worn and signed all over the place for us, which we did buy off him because we didn't want to just leave him with nothing. So we bought that and got a photo with him, which we paid for. But he was great to meet, and yeah, we met a lot of people. It was great fun.
I was on the news.
You're on the news? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Did we ever see that?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, because I was talking to the guy that filmed me. He was like, look me up, and then we looked it up, and there was a little snippet of me basically just saying there's nothing like this in Australia. This is wicked, yeah. That's about it, really.
I actually completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing the video.
It was because we were standing waiting for our Uber, and he walked past with a big camera. He wasn't filming, he was just looking for his car or waiting for someone. And he's just like, God, Ubers here are just hard to get. And I was, taxis or something. And I said, well, that's why we got an Uber. And then he's like, where are you from? Must have picked our accent, I'm assuming. And I said, oh, Australia. And then straight away he was just like, oh, and he just turns the camera on and he's like, I'm interviewing you. Yeah. He just sort of spoke to me about, because there's not a lot of women that are interested in wrestling. So he wanted my perspective on it. Because there wasn't that many women there compared to me.
No, definitely not.
So yeah. Yeah, it was a snippet of me on there, just saying about them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually completely forgot about that. We have to try and find the video.
To get ya! WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. And a lot of the fans that are here for this thing that we call WrestleCon, I'm meeting a lot of people that are not from America.
Australia, there's nothing. There's barely any wrestling. They're really small shows. This is huge.
All the fans come to WrestleCon here, get to meet all their favorite wrestlers. Every wrestler you can think of is here.
The first thing Hacksaw Jim Duggan had to do is give a big ho! Come on out and see the best of the best. Hey, it's gonna get nasty. Us to give something back to the people, and that's for all the years that they've been our fans, and we love it because without it, we're nothing. With them, it makes us the barbarian, the warlord, we're the powers of pain. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. the fact that all these people want to spend their time inside a building and being around wrestling and supporting what we're doing, it's all the chain.
You never die because you're an action figure and you're larger than life. Just incredible feeling.
I've been a fan since 1997. I even have the WWE logo tattooed on me.
The greatest form of sports entertainment in the world today.
Fans come from all over the world for this, and it is a big event. I mean, they're going to have over 100,000 people at the stadium, so it's going to be great.
There's nothing quite like WrestleMania. It is seriously something to behold in person live. There's nothing like it.
But yeah, WrestleCon's great. Last time we went, we loved it. This time we went, we loved it again. It's just so expensive. Like, I'm trying to meet all these people, and you really want to meet a lot more people. So I actually knew we didn't have to meet as many this time because we met so many last time. And I thought, all right, we'll be able to meet everybody we want to meet this time because we don't have to meet as many.
$50 per person, basically.
I wanted to meet Devon Dudley, and the guy was like, "Yeah,
80.
that was 100."
Mm.
He's like, "Yeah, we'll do it for 100 for you." I was like, I love Devon, and he looked like he was disappointed that.
Yeah, because no one was going to him because he was too flippin' expensive.
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't set the price. His little.
Yeah, but he's also got to understand that not everyone can afford it.
Yeah, but I mean, he looked disappointed that every time this guy must have been saying how much it was,
Mm.
people just went, "Oh shit, I can't afford to pay $100."
Mm.
This is $100 US as well, by the way. So, $170,
Not cheap.
$180 Australian. It's not cheap
Not
at all.
cheap.
So I just couldn't do it. It was just actually really sad. I really wanted to meet Devon Dudley, but it didn't happen. John Moxley never showed up, which is hilarious, and I'm not surprised because he seems like that kind of guy, just play on his own whim. But overall, great experience. Love WrestleCon and definitely recommend it to everybody.
Mm.
That's the end of our holiday. We won't talk about our holiday on this one because we did that plenty in the last one. If you want to go back and watch it, episode 15, part 1 and part 2 was a long one. And yes, we put so much damn effort into it. So please go and watch it and enjoy. Get yourself some tips. There's plenty of them in there. If you want to go and do a holiday, hit us up. We can help you out if you want to know anything as well. There was some feedback as well from the last couple of shows, or the last show with the 2 parts.
Mm.
Jordan Coates said, love the Carney on display in the background. We had Emma Carney's North Melbourne jumper, which I purchased from Jordan just before we left. So he wanted to see it on mail day.
Ah.
But I...
Oh, when you got to started opening all your parcels without... Yeah.
Yeah, so I
does
purchased
that.
it just before we left.
Mhm.
And I said, don't worry about rushing postage because we're going to be away anyway.
Mm.
So I said, just slow it down or whatever. I'd send it to your parents.
Mm.
So when we got back, it was at your parents' house.
Mhm.
And you're like, just wait, leave it for mail day. I was like, all right. So I left it for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks. And then I just couldn't help it. I had 4 or 5 parcels that were just sitting there waiting to be opened or for us to do the podcast. And of course, we couldn't do it for, it ended up being 12 weeks by the time we did do it. But yeah, I couldn't do it. I didn't actually have any, I don't think, that I didn't open until we got one this week. So
Yay.
so we'll have a mail day this week, and it'll only be one item, but at least we've got one to open. So thanks, Jordan. Dermot McCaig, your mate Dermot, said, heck, I've missed you guys.
Mhm. We're entertaining, aren't we?
Brad Stone said, welcome back, team. Glad to hear that your health is on the mend, and I know the feeling about getting hit by the food trolley. So he's talking about the food trolleys on the airplanes as they go past and they
Smash
nail
your
your elbow or your feet. I actually was surprised at how far I
'cause
left
you
my
stick your
knee
feet
out. Now, I can understand why Brad would get his knees nailed because Brad is a very tall man.
Mhm.
Brad, you're going to have to put a comment on the bottom of this. Let
How
us
tall
know
are you?
exactly how tall you
looking
are.
at your
You looked at
camera.
my camera, you goose. I'm gonna guess he is 6'10".
Ooh.
Have you? You've met Brad?
Yeah.
Because sorry, I just about choked as I was about to say it. Then
It's not the one that thought I was Aaron, was he?
yeah. Oh, you're ruining it.
Oh, sorry.
Back in 2018, I reckon would have been the first sale.
Mhm.
I think it was 2018,
Mm.
and obviously I hadn't I hadn't met Brad as of yet. He'd seen me on pages and posts, and we've talked here and there off Facebook. And he went up to Em at the sale
Shook my hand.
as she was sitting down, shook his hand, and said, "Oh, hi, Aaron. I'm Brad." I just walked up. I was like, "Oh, hey, Brad, I'm actually Aaron. How you going, mate?" So, a little embarrassing for both of us, but we got past it, and now I see Brad quite a lot now. He's a very good man. Glad you watched the show, Brad, and weren't turned off by the fact that I was a male. So, yeah, thank you for your feedback, Brad. That was great. And Dave Causey, of course, comments on...
Oh, the jump. I knew he would. The jumper.
He did,
When
of
we had the
course.
jumper in the corner.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
said, when you put it there, I was like, Dave's going to make a comment.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I love that
you're
jumper.
right. Dave said, "Bugger, I saw the time." So this is obviously the second part.
When it said 5 hours.
Yeah, so this is obviously the second part he's commented on. He said, "Bugger, I saw the time, got the popcorn ready, and then it finished." So originally, when I put it up, I don't know how I did it, but I've put pretty much double the show. I just moved one video over out of the way, but still on the same timeline as I was editing it. So when I rendered it to put it on YouTube, it put on YouTube as over 5.5 hours. So when it came up, I was like, "Oh shit, everyone's gonna get turned off by this," but I couldn't redo it, couldn't delete it and redo it. I had to just edit it and then wait for it to get published by YouTube. So yeah, Dave's seen the 5.5 hour video and set himself up for an afternoon. Yeah, great comment there. Thank you very much. Sounds like a great team, Team Warwick. Great time, Team Warwick, rather. It certainly was. And then good to see the Gawny in the background.
I do love that jumper.
Yes, it is a rather lovely jumper. I really like that one. That was it for our feedback for last 2 weeks' episodes, or last week's double part episode. It was an absolute marathon. I have had a lot of people outside of just comments on Facebook saying that they watched a bit of it and they thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Brett Atchell messaged me as well throughout the whole thing. Shout out to Brett. How he was enjoying it as he was watching it. So, and then he'd give me rundown commentary basically as he was watching it. So that's really cool. All right, so we haven't talked much footy at all.
No, we're 22 minutes in and we are still talking about a holiday.
We haven't talked much footy at all since the last time we did an episode. So we will do a little bit now before we talk about basketball, actually.
Basketball?
Yeah, there's a little bit of basketball. It still ties into what our format is, right? So don't get too excited. But first, Em, how was your weekend?
Oh, yeah. Great.
It's great.
It's great.
Oh, that's exciting. First, we got to see the West Coast Eagles get absolutely mauled. Apologies to West Coast Eagles fans out there. 171-point loss.
Well, we didn't see it.
No.
I'm sitting at the footy and I get a message from Erin, "Have you seen the West Coast score?" And I was like, nah. And then 2 seconds later, I was like, Jesus. All right.
Do you know what's funny is I hadn't seen it either. And Mitch Croden, former West Coast, wow. Former Fremantle Docker and current East Perth Royal, text messaged me and said, "Have you seen the West Coast score?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." I looked, and at that point, it was 150 points that they were down by us. Holy shit. I literally just wrote back to him. That was so funny. I couldn't believe it. Again, apologies, West Coast fans. But yeah, they're in a world of hurt. So not great for them at all. And I was on the way to the game. And so we went to the Fremantle versus Essendon game last night. So that was last night. This is Sunday. Enjoyed the game. I got there halfway through the second quarter, so it was a little bit disappointing. I missed a fair bit of it. But we enjoyed the rest of it. It was great. Josh, my mate, old mate, very old mate. We played cricket together.
Old mate.
Old mate.
Old mate.
Actually was our MC at our wedding. And he came and sat with us with his old man, Steve. Shout out to Steve. And we had a good time. Good evening watching the game. Very exciting game. Essendon started to kick back a little in the fourth quarter before we shut it out. And then we got to experience the team song down in the change rooms, which was a first for us. First time we've ever experienced it. That came about because I, obviously working at my job that I do, had quite a few players come through the years, buy stuff off me or help hook them up. And Alex Pearce came and saw me during the week and he sorted himself out with a PS5. Only 3 years later than everybody else, but he finally got on the train. Got himself a PS5, took him up with some games, controllers, all the like, and got a decent price out of it, and he said, "I'll hook you up with some change room passes." And thinking that I've heard that before, I've heard all this before that people offer things,
Yeah,
and
they never come through with it.
didn't really think anything of it. And then 2 days later, he waltzes back in the day before the game and hands me these passes. Says, "Thank you very much. Here's your passes I promised you. And I'll see you after the game." So, and we did indeed. He spotted us out of the giant crowd. It was actually crazy
Yeah, it
inside.
was. You wouldn't want to be claustrophobic and go in there.
No,
Holy crap! It got hot
Eh,
real
yeah.
quick too.
So you think when you go down in the change rooms that it's just family and friends, and it was. It was only family and friends, but there was a good 100 people at least inside that little room. It's only pretty small. It was a good 100 people. It wasn't roped off or anything. We're all just huddling around the players. And then once they'd sung the song, which we all got to join in, they walked off, had their little meeting with the coach, and then walked back out and mingled with all the family and friends, which was super cool. Lukey Ryan spotted us out of the crowd and come right over to us, shook our hands, and said hello. Switter, good old Sam Switkowski, gotta love him. He went to walk past me, and I just yelled out Switter, and he kind of did the whole g'day thing. Oh, how you going? When he recognised it was me, because we do chat quite a bit on not on Messenger, but we actually have a text message. We text each other all the time about the Sacramento Kings mostly. But he's been around. He's been to the cave right where I'm sitting, actually. He's been right there, and we took a photo. He's been in here. He's signed a bunch of jumpers, got a PS5, and we chat quite a bit. Just a really good lad. So once he recognised it was us, he come over and did he give you a hug or he shook your hand? Can't
I
remember.
just said hello.
Said hello. And we had a good chat for probably about 10 minutes. He stood there chatting with us. And then we saw Alex Pierce come out, and we went and had a chat to him for quite a while, and just good lad. So, yeah, real good experience inside the change rooms. If you ever get an opportunity to go
Something
down
different.
there, yeah, definitely something different. So if you ever get the opportunity to do it, definitely do it. It's good fun. I would say just be respectful. Like I say, it's just normally friends and family down there. So, yeah, everyone's kind of mingling with their families. Just leave them alone. If they come up to you and say hello, then you can probably say hello back and ask for a photo or whatever. There was plenty of people asking for photos, but
we didn't really force ourselves on any of them. We said hello to Sweater because he literally walked in front of our face.
yeah.
But we didn't force him to stay and talk to us. He stood next to us and started talking. Luke Ryan approached you. And Alex Pierce spotted you before you'd spotted him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, really, really cool. Thoroughly recommend it. We actually wanted to take a bunch of photos, not with the players, but of their jumpers.
yeah, every time one walked past here, it's like, look at that one, look at the dirt on that.
Oh, it's so frustrating because you get these auction jumpers, you spend all this money, and then they come and you're like, oh, there's a little tiny stain on there, and you get excited. But you get into the change rooms and you see them directly after the game. It's just covered in filth, a lot of paint. That's one thing I noticed. There's a lot of blue paint, red paint, whenever they slide across the logos. That's one thing I really wish that they wouldn't take off, because those make them easy to photo match to games, and it's something that sets apart.
That's what I was saying yesterday, is I really believe that there should be you win the jumper and then the club contacts you and be like, hey, would you prefer this wash or unwashed? And you get the option. So if it's dirty, that's on you because you want it dirty. If some people don't like the dirt, then they'll wash it for them. But I reckon they should give you the option. Do you want it washed or unwashed?
100%. You definitely need to get the option. I get why they need to wash it, sort of.
Why?
Well, they're worried about, and it has happened with Carlton jumpers, is that they go mouldy.
But that's on the person buying it. If they want it dirty, then that's on them.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way that they can just run them through, just to keep them. I don't know, get rid of the sweat, I guess, but keep all the dirt and the stains on them, and just run them through
just a bit of a
cycle,
rinse cycle.
Without clearing it off, and that will
yeah.
prevent it from going completely mouldy.
We do some sort of rinse cycle, but not like no laundry detergent, no.
Well, when I had a jumper from 98, I believe, 1998, St Kilda jumper that was still covered in mud on the back. That thing hadn't gone mouldy at all, and that was pretty damn old once the time I got it. So, yeah, if you just chuck it through light cycle or whatever, get it to the people who want it in the current state, and then they can decide what they want to do with it
I definitely
afterwards.
believe you should have the option.
Yeah. Anyway, so great time we had. We'd love to have taken a bunch of photos, but we didn't take one. Well, Em took a video, which is the only thing we had in
Well,
time.
to be fair, we're just enjoying the moment. So yeah.
Good times, good times. So what we're going to talk about first before we get into our regular stuff, Em.
Mate, we haven't even gotten into our regular stuff.
Oh, we've done the comments, feedback.
Mm.
So technically we have.
Right.
31 minutes in.
Yeah.
Is Nick Dacos's Anzac Day jumper. Now, you would remember this game because we were sitting there watching it. And I think Josh was here watching it with us, potentially. He was, because I had put a bet on it for him to be the winner of the Anzac Day medal.
Yes.
And every time he got the ball, I'm like, there's another one. And,
Yes.
and when he was running past, I'm like, give it to me.
Mm.
The whole game. I think it was not just the Anzac medal, but I had possessions and everything.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of bets on it. And he won them all, which was great. What we saw after the game and in the following week or two was his jumper sold at auction. How much do you reckon it sold for?
Something stupid, isn't it? Like 20,000 or 30,000.
You're not far off. So it sold for $16,000,
Okay.
which after fees would be about 18 grand.
Mm.
And everyone was going nuts about the fact that it sold for this much money. Em's about to steal my chocolate, which I do not like at all.
Is there actually any left?
It's my chocolate. Don't touch my
Oh,
chocolate.
there's 3 squares. I'll go 2 to 1.
Yeah, 2 to me and half to you.
1. I have a problem.
Flourish Podcast Cage Sessions proudly sponsored to you by
Cadbury.
Cadbury's Top Deck Chocolate.
1. Sorry. Just a moment. Do. Please tell me you're going to put that in.
Oh, yeah. So, as I said, Nick Dacos' jumbo. Chocolate makes it very difficult to speak.
16 gram, 18 gram with fees.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's saying, who's bought this jumper? Who's idiotic enough to spend 16 grand?
Someone that's a very smart person.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. And then everyone else is thinking, it's got to have gone to a corporate business of some sort. Surely, because otherwise these jumpers just don't go that high. And did indeed. Once it didn't take too long for it to come about.
Mm-hmm.
People started to notice who had it, and it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this?
No.
Have you seen where it went? Have I spoken to you about it?
No.
So, it must have been a month or so later, probably
Mhm.
only about a month later. There was a post made on this particular business's page. We've talked about them before. Many other people have talked about them, how much they don't really like them. However, this particular moment for them, smart business decision, for the football Guernsey collector in us, and at the time, even when I was sitting there going, man, how good would it be to get the hold of that jumper? To see what happened to it is sad, but it happens to a lot of
Oh,
jumpers.
no. It didn't. I know exactly where you're telling me this is going to go.
This jumper
No.
was cut into
No.
little pieces.
No. Really?
So, cut into little pieces.
And made into cards.
No.
Oh, stop it. It gets worse.
So, they made it into 35, limited it to only 35. So,
Okay.
there's no way they made a whole jumper spread out over 35. So, I don't know what's left of it. It's probably a little tiny cut off of the jumper just floating around somewhere. It was a frame with him, just an action shot of him in the game, and a little piece of the jumper at the bottom.
Fuck.
And it was signed on the frame. Sold for $1,795 a piece. And only 35 of them produced. So, how much do you think that this business made out of this one $16,000 jumper?
Not much, because they would have had to have made the frames, which is going to cost them money. So they've paid 18 grand for the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got to get the frames,
Mhm.
the pictures, pay someone to cut it up professionally, pay someone to frame it professionally. So they probably made fuck all.
Paid Nick Dacos to come in and sign it as
Yeah.
well. they sold all these for around about $63,000.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They wouldn't
63
have made
minus
much.
18, and then all the fees. Yeah, even if they made 20 grand out
Maybe
of it,
15,000.
that's a pretty good
What the
venture.
fuck?
So they've taken this jumper that was probably
And
one of the
ruined
best
it.
jumpers that you could get, and they've cut it into pieces and spread the love, I guess you could say,
No,
to 35 people.
no.
But they've cut up this amazing jumper, and it's now gone into the history, never to be seen in Hull ever again.
I think people would have much rather one person have it.
I don't doubt that. Yeah.
You'd much rather a business be like, hey, we're a car mechanic or something, you know, it's on our wall, and everyone be like, that's really cool. No, they cut it up.
Mm. Yep. Yep, that jumper no longer exists in Hull anymore.
That is disgusting.
Yep. So that happened. That brought down the mood a little bit. But
I don't want to do the podcast anymore. I'm sad. You got any more chocolate?
no, I do. There's one block
Oh.
left, and it's mine.
I'm really upset and I'm really sad.
Yeah, so was I. It was good chocolate too. And to be fair, before we started this tonight, oh yeah, yep, I walked into the cave with my block of chocolate, and Em sent me a message of last week saying, "Oh, look what I did! I bought you a block of chocolate, a whole block to yourself," because she had her own block of chocolate. I walk in, I'm like, "Oh, we're sharing the last 2 squares of my chocolate that I had at least 3/4 of it left 2 days ago." Where did my chocolate go, Emma?
Why do I feel like the dog when you tell her off? I'm ashamed.
Okay.
Okay.
You will be shame.
I have a problem.
All right. Yep. Yeah, problem. All right. So, Nick Dacos's jumper has gone forever. And as we were just saying, to be able to share it with people would be great. If a business bought it or somebody bought it and put it on display, it would be really, really cool. It's kind of what the WWE are doing right now. They're going back, and if you've seen the WWE Most Wanted Treasures, they're going and buying back a lot of stuff that they let out in the public to be able to bring them back in, and eventually they'll have a physical Hall of Fame where you can go and see all these items on display, which would be super cool.
Mm.
In the meantime, they're taking them on travel with them to like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, things like that, where you can see them in person, which we did have quite a few photos up on the last episode. And that brings me to the next thing, which is Michael Jordan, Emma.
Michael Jordan.
Yep, she's not paying attention.
Well, not really, because he's old.
I beg your pardon.
He old.
Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball
Yeah,
player
but he old.
of all time.
You can't tell me he's coming back. He's old.
No, I'm not telling you he's coming back.
Okay, well then there you
What
go.
I'm trying to tell you is about people sharing the love. Michael Jordan's dream team jersey, not just any
If
jersey.
you're gonna tell me it's cut up, I'm leaving. If you, I'm walking out that door right now.
It's not cut up. No, it's not in pieces.
I can't.
However-
There's not much more of this I can handle.
However,
Yes,
there's a certain collection that has been split into pieces.
I don't like that word.
What I'm getting at is this certain collection. If you've watched, can't remember what the show was called now, actually, but if you watched this show recently on Netflix that everybody was talking about, which we started to watch, but you fell asleep as always, I continued to watch. You would have seen the very last episode, I believe. Kevin, why am I saying Kevin? Karl Malone, the mailman, those who know from Utah Jazz fame, and then Los Angeles Lakers when he wanted to win a ring, which didn't happen. He was playing for the 1992 Dream Team back at the Olympics. His wife at the time was a very smart lady. Once the team came in, took off all their jerseys, just threw them on the floor, she was like, "What is wrong with you people?"
She took him.
She picked them all up, one by one, picked them all up off the ground, walked up to each one of them, got them to sign it, and then kept them.
Sitting on a landmine.
Absolutely. So, since 1992, they've been sitting, or very nicely on display, all framed.
Mm.
Each individual player's jersey, all framed.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been at least 12 of them,
Yeah.
probably more than that. All framed nicely in his car lot that he owns
Mm.
in Utah. All on the wall, all signed to Carl, and their player signature all on the front, really nicely displayed. Looks great. So he decided to sell them all, individually auction them all off.
Mm.
They all got great money. I think Carl Malone's got a lot. Larry Bird's 300 grand, something like that. Magic Johnson 400 grand. A lot of money each for each jersey. And he donated all of this money to his foundation. So he
Mhm.
didn't just sell them just to make some money. He's rich enough as it is, but he donated to his foundation or whatever it is that he does.
Mm.
So huge dollars. He also had Michael Jordan's jersey in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
How much would you guess, Emma, that Michael Jordan's jersey went for at this auction?
I'm going to say something. You're probably going to tell me I'm stupid, but probably like a couple of million.
Not going to tell you it's stupid at all. Michael Jordan's jersey sold for $3 million. Crazy.
Mm.
Very nicely framed. It looks... Oh, I don't know if it's framed. Yeah, it would have been. They probably unframed it, though. I have to double check that. But $3 million signed Michael Jordan Dream Team jersey, Team USA, from 1992. Crazy. That's where I feel the collecting game is heading. The amount of dollars that these things are going for.
Yeah, but you'd never get a Michael Jordan. Like, they're way too expensive.
Yeah.
They're so ridiculously expensive. And even Michael Jordans that aren't even, like, worn. Like, look at my friend that had that Michael Jordan. It wasn't worn or anything. It was a Michael Jordan, like, issued jumper. It was signed, I think. He wanted something ridiculous for it, like 60,000, 70,000.
That one wasn't even issued. It was just a signed retail.
Oh, really?
From Upper Deck. So
Okay.
Upper Deck at the time were the only ones that had the rights to Michael Jordan's signature.
Yeah.
So he would only sign those jerseys.
Okay.
So they'd come with little Upper Deck
Yeah,
cards.
yeah.
That's why they're worth money. But
Okay.
it's still a retail.
Yeah, he wanted something ridiculous for it. Like, 60,000, 70,000. Like,
Yeah. So if you're lucky to find an issued Michael Jordan jersey, and there are actually quite a lot of them out there, you're still, at best, not going to pay less than 5-6 grand for an unworn, never touched, never seen by Michael
no
Jordan
sign,
jersey. Nothing.
no signature, nothing. Yeah.
Not even close. Probably never made it to the Bulls locker room. It would have just been sitting in boxes just in case ever they needed to use it. But you're still looking at 6, 7 to 10 grand just for an issued Jordan jersey. Never even considered to be worn, which is crazy. But the memorabilia game is getting huge. Manchester City just won, thankfully. Hallelujah. Big Man City fans here. We are. They finally just won the Champions League for the first time ever. It should have happened 2 years ago. Didn't. Lost to Chelsea in just the most disgraceful game. Finally got it done this year. It was actually kind of scary. They only won, I think, 1 or 2-0. I can't remember now. But it was a good game. Exciting to watch. Their issued non-worn jerseys went up for auction a couple of days later. I didn't actually see what the end result is, but within 3 days, Erling Haaland's unworn jersey was at $7,000. It's like 13, 14 grand or 12, 13 grand.
Crazy.
With 3 days left, I have to find out how much they went for in the end because they would have kept skyrocketing. All because it was the first time they won it. It would have been signed by Haaland. Still would have been the same jerseys they wore on field, but never touched. 13 grand. Crazy. AFL jumpers are getting a little bit too scary as far as the trajectory is, as the pricing goes for these auctions. Unworn jerseys, jumpers can still, I don't know why I keep calling these jerseys because I was talking about basketball jerseys earlier. These unworn jumpers still going for lots of money for these particular bigger games and bigger times. When we're on the NBA or we're on basketball, the NBA Finals just happened as well. And I have a little video of the NBA Finals patch being applied to not just the jerseys that the players wore, but all of the clothing that they wore as well. Really cool little video, which we'll chuck on now.
With us to get our Threads Finals ready. First, measure for patch placement. Put on whatever this is. TBH, we don't know what it is. Lay the patch down. Sew it on. This is repeated on every piece of gear. Look at all of them go. Finals ready.
Anyway,
Anywho.
while we were talking about the video that was going on in the background, you guys were watching the really cool video of the NBA Finals patch being applied. And yeah, like I said, they don't just apply it to the grand final jumper like the AFL does. They apply it to every piece of clothing that they wear on court and on the bench, which is pretty cool. Actually, I reckon it's something that AFL should do is prepare, tracksuits, warm-up tops with the patches on them for the players. A little bit of extra specialness, I guess, to it. It'd be pretty cool to see a whole outfit made for them, whether the players keep them or whatever happens to them. Be really cool because they have those finals patches on everything, which is pretty mental. And it is a special day, a special just for AFL. It's just one day, but NBA Finals goes over a couple of weeks, and it's a very special couple of weeks that a huge audience tune into. It's the same with the AFL Grand Final. Huge audience tunes into it every year, so it'd be really, really good if they just make every bit as special as possible. And that's just one little thing I think they could do. Next segment is a holiday-themed quick hands.
Oh, God. Still on the holiday.
The reason why it's a holiday theme quick hands is because I was actually going to ask you these questions on the last episode.
Right.
But we went so long, I was like, I'm not doing it.
Screw this.
So quick hands is kind of followed over a little bit into this episode. However, I have cut it down on the holiday episode.
Keep it short.
Questions, and I've chucked a few non-holiday ones in there as well. So let me just adjust my microphone here because it's falling down a little bit. I feel like I'm talking down into it. What is going on here? There we go.
You right there, mate?
I'm good. All right, Em.
All right.
First question. If you had to be a Disney character, which one would you be?
Ugh. Well, now I'd be Grogu.
Oh. Fair enough. What is your Hogwarts house?
What? I don't know. I don't really watch Harry Potter.
It's bollocks.
I just don't really care for it, though.
When we were in, where was it? Universal
Studios.
You were telling me all about these houses, how they all belong to these certain houses.
Oh.
Everyone's talking about, oh, I'm part of this house, or I'm this house, and I'm that house. So I figured you'd just have your own house sorted.
Go for the generic, I suppose, and go for Gryffindor.
All right. I don't even know what that means. So you could have told me anything else. Oh, yeah, great house. Cool. Quick hands, Em. Quick hands. Quick.
Keep it short.
If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what would it be?
Is this Disney related?
No, anything.
Disney is.
Ooh. I'm actually really surprised you didn't say chocolate.
Disney is. I can get chocolate anyway.
All right.
After a while, starts hurting my teeth.
If your life was a story, what would it be titled?
One bitch goes wild. I don't know.
No, we're not talking about an R-rated movie here. This isn't Girls Gone Wild. What did you say it was?
One bitch goes wild.
All right. Quick hands. What's the most interesting thing in your wallet or purse?
There's not much in it.
Well, something interesting in there, surely.
Nah, the purse is pretty cool, though. It's a Baby Yoda purse.
Is there a photo of us in there?
No.
Oh. I know.
Jacket. Oh.
It's going to be exciting because behind my head, if you can see it in the corner there, is last week's episode just playing and Em's able to see it, whereas I can't.
And we're on to Disney now. Carry on. Oh.
Number 6. What's your favourite pizza topping?
Cheese.
Just cheese.
Cheese. Ham and cheese.
Last one. What's your favourite beverage?
Ugh. Cup of tea.
Cap tea.
Cup tea.
Cap tea. All right, Em. Now, we have a lot of things to catch up on that we've missed out on, but we can't do them all today because otherwise we won't have any thing to talk about over the next few weeks. So, we're going to talk about Indigenous jumpers today. And we'll talk about other jumpers at another time. And next week and the following week, there's a lot still to catch up on. This week, we're going to talk about Indigenous jumpers. Em, I've already sent you all of the pictures.
I did wondered
of
why
the
you sent
Indigenous.
wondered. Well, I can't speak English. I'm just going to stop.
What we're going to do is we're going to go through each one individually, alphabetically, rather, and you're going to rate them. So we'll start with Adelaide, obviously. Adelaide's Indigenous jumper, out of 10, 1 to 10, what would you rate their Indigenous jumper?
Adelaide's?
Adelaide.
Am I on Adelaide's?
It should be the first one I sent you.
It looks like they got little bunnies on it.
Okay. Does it?
Yeah. Bunnies. The little football and the little little bunnies.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't mind it.
All right, 1 to 10.
10 being the highest?
Yeah.
6?
6. All right. Yep. All right. Next one. Brisbane. Now, Brisbane have got 2. So a home and a clash.
Oh.
You can either rate them together as a whole or you can rate them individually.
I'll rate them together. Because they're pretty much the same, just different colours.
Yes. However, in my mind, one jumper is better than the other.
I prefer the... I don't actually know. I think I prefer the yellow one.
I also prefer the yellow
Yeah,
one.
I think the yellow one just stands out a bit more.
I reckon it's great. But what is your rating 1 to 10 on the Brisbane Indigenous jumper?
5.
5?
I don't really like the other one. I like the away. I mean, I know it's exactly the same, but the colours are just so washed out because of the colour of the the dog video just popped up in the background. Sorry. Yeah, it gets very washed out with that colour. I do like the yellow one though,
well,
but
just rate the yellow one then. What would you rate the yellow one out of 10?
6 or a 7.
All right, 6 or 7.
I love it. It actually kind of looks a little bit like Adelaide's, the flower. Adelaide's flower just looks more blown up.
Yeah, that's fair call. All right, on to Carlton. Carlton's 2023 Indigenous. They only had the one. What would you rate this M out of 10?
Don't like that.
She doesn't like it at all if you can't
Do you
hear
know what
it.
I don't like? I don't like the collar of it. Do you know what the collar makes me think of? Is something like...
Oh, it's kind of a tribal thing, right?
Kind of like Panther. Like, yeah, like Wakanda Forever sort of stuff.
But I love that.
I don't like it, but it's only really the collar that's throwing me off.
1 to 10. 4. Okay. Fair enough. Collingwood's 2023 Indigenous jumper, M. What would you rate 1 to 10?
I don't like the checkers in the middle.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Now, before we get too far into it as well, before we start making comments and things that people don't like, remember, we're going off design here. We're not reading into the story. We know there are great stories for a lot of jumpers,
it's
and
not
they're
the
made
story.
very nicely.
It's the worst thing is as well is like they can be given a good design and a good story behind it, but it's how the company executes the design.
Yeah, I mean, no, not necessarily. So most of these jumpers are drawn and designed.
Oh, so they draw them
by individual people.
Oh, okay.
So they'll come up, they'll create the design. A lot of the time, it won't be on the jumper, but they'll do like an art painting.
But hear me out. Like, I've not said anything bad about the story. So with the lions, all I've said is just I feel like the maroon colour washes out the thing.
Yeah, well, that's my point.
With Carlton, I think it's a really nice jumper. I just don't like that, but it's just personal preference. Like, I'm not saying it's a terrible story or anything. And with Collingwood, I'm just saying the checkers are just strange.
Yeah, so that makes my point.
Yeah,
I'm
not trying to be offensive.
Looking at this as the story sucks or anything like that.
No.
It's just purely face value. the design we're looking at right now, that's what we're going off. I'm sure there are some wonderful stories for these jumpers, but we are not looking into those at all. We
No.
haven't looked into them at all, so there's a reason for that. We just don't have the time. But face value, and that's what we do on this show, is we look at designs. We don't look at stories of reasons of why they're made. I'm sure there are some fantastic reasons. But face value, this is our opinion, and it's purely that. We don't have facts on here. Em, what is your rating 1 to 10 for the Collingwood jumper?
Probably 6. I don't mind it. I just don't like the checkers. But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
6. All right.
Oh.
Next is Essendon.
Wow.
It's out there,
Wow.
but it keeps the sash going.
I really like that.
Hmm.
It's really smart. That's really smart. Good silence. Yeah, that's really clever. Like, it's still the sash, but it's, yeah, I like that.
It's pretty cool.
I really like that.
1 to 10, Em.
Oh, 8.
8. Nice. Okay.
I'm
Next
trying
one.
not to be biased here, don't I?
Fremantle. So again, Fremantle had 2 different colours, purple and white. You can rate them individually or you can rate them as a whole. They're exactly the
I
same.
actually don't like our jersey.
You don't like it? No. Wow, what don't you like about it?
It's a lot. There's a lot going on.
There's quite a bit.
There's a lot. And
the reason for that, and again, like I say, we weren't
story.
reading into the story, but there's a lot going on because there's a whole story.
I know. But yeah.
But going off face value and design only, without knowing any story.
I'd say a 5. I'm not a huge fan of ours.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Fair enough. I actually prefer the white one over the purple one this year.
Yeah, the white one looks
It's amazing.
slightly better. Yeah.
Every year I kind of flip-flop between which one looks
you
better, the
do.
white or the purple. And this year I think it's the white. Geelong's travesty. I mean, jumper. Indigenous jumper that they wore against us. And then I can't remember who they wore it against the next week.
3.
3. No comments about this one, Em.
Like, they look like they've got chicken pox.
If this was me rating this jumper, I'd give it a 2. And my comment on it, it's just shit.
I was being generous.
It's just shit. I'm so sorry for Geelong fans.
It does look nice in the blue. It does look quite nice in the blue, actually, because it makes it more look like stars.
Yeah.
But in the white, it just looks like they're diseased. Moving on before I actually get myself in trouble here.
It's not good, and that's my opinion. I think it's awful. Just design-wise, face value-wise, nothing else. Terrible. Next, and I actually don't think Geelong have done very well with their Indigenous jumpers.
Well, if they keep going down that route, they're not going to be doing very well.
Since the beginning, I don't think they've done too many good ones at all.
It must be hard, though, putting a story into a design. It must be really hard. Like,
and with only 2 colours, like they only use 2 colours.
Yeah, exactly. So. And like some Indigenous, it takes them months to do a dot painting and do their art and stuff. So to be able to be like, by the way, you need to come up with something now, and it needs to have a story to it, and it needs to fit on a jumper, would be incredibly hard.
Yeah, 100%.
It'd be very hard.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people they'll draw the design, they'll put it on the artwork, and on the artwork it's like, oh, this looks really cool. We should put it on a jumper.
But when you put it on a body,
and then it just doesn't compute or doesn't work, doesn't roll over to a jumper as well as it does on a piece of artwork.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I feel like that could be one of these examples. Next one, Em, is Gold Coast.
I really like that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a giant sun. Whole lot of white dots.
Little birdie.
And a birdie. I think there's a gator on the back too. You can't see that, unfortunately, but they do them fairly well, Gold Coast.
That.
We're rating of 1 to 10, Em.
7.
7?
Actually, nah. I'm going to say 8.
Cool.
I really like that.
8. So right now you've got 8 Gold Coast and 8 Essendon. Fair enough. GWS. It was an interesting little laugh.
That's cute.
That's cute, yeah. I don't mind it. It looks like a nice flowing river, but it's got feet on it for some reason. But they use their colours
like
well.
That compared to that.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I think the colour works well with the Indigenous round theme.
I didn't say it was terrible. I said it was cute.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah. Without knowing the story, I think it's
Don't
a
mind it.
nice jumper, but
6.
6.
I don't mind it. It's not terrible. I was just like, oh, that's cute because of the feet.
Hawthorn.
What? They all got the same flower going on this
Yeah.
round, don't they?
Yeah. Seemingly.
I mean, it's all right, but now that I've seen 2 with the same flower design, it's kind of getting a bit old hat here.
Yeah.
6.
6.
It is a nice jumper. It's just, yeah, I'm like, okay. Can all start doing their own. Oh.
North Melbourne.
Oh,
No.
no.
Sorry, Melbourne. Melbourne.
Okay, I don't like the light blue one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is the thing I hate, and this is why my favourite one from Melbourne
Yeah.
was the one we had
Last year's
there,
Indigenous,
was
yeah.
because they carried it onto the sleeves.
Mm.
I hate that they do a design and give them sleeves, but the sleeves are plain.
Mm.
It looks stupid.
Mm. Fair enough.
But I actually quite like that. It's the blue's just weird because I'm not used to seeing them in a light blue.
Mm.
Nothing can ever replace that. I think that. See what I mean? Look at the arms.
Yeah.
The arms fit. That is just weird how they've just cut it off.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I just wish you can't beat that. That's probably that's the best.
It's good.
That is probably one of my favourite Indigenous.
It is a very nice.
Oh, I love that.
It's very nice. Indigenous,
7, I do like it. I just don't like that they haven't continued like they did with that one. That
Yep.
they didn't continue on with the sleeves.
Well, if you're just going off the short sleeve design.
Short sleeves nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, yeah.
So 7 overall?
Yeah.
North Melbourne.
Trash.
What?
Trash.
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 1.5.
1.5. Wow. That's a huge call. I actually don't mind it. I think it looks all right. It's not special. It's not fantastic. It's
Trash.
all right. But, geez, 1.5. Trash.
Moving on. Oh, that is nice.
Port Adelaide's.
That's gonna be a 9.
That's pretty good.
That's gonna be a 9.5. Oh, I like that. That is wicked. That is wicked.
A 9.5.
That is wicked.
It's massive.
Surely Lynch is going to love me after that. Surely he's going to forgive
I
me.
don't know if he watches the show anymore after.
Surely. Just send him the snippet of that part and be like, look what Emma said about this jumper. Back in the good books. I like that. Say no more.
9.5.
9.5.
Says M for the Port Adelaide Indigenous jumper for this year. Richmond.
I can't really see that one properly.
Zoom in.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but it's a bit... God, I don't like the nib logo on it, hey?
Yeah, the nib logo.
Nib doesn't really suit the yellow, does it?
They can see there's a pattern through the yellow as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which is pretty cool.
I
love the dancers.
I'd say, yeah, that's very different. That's very different compared to what they normally do. Just anyone does. What do we say about, I don't know, 7?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'd say 7.
Fair enough.
I do like it.
I should have write these results down, but...
Oh, really? Go back and look at it later.
St Kilda.
Oh, I get why they've done that.
So not only is it obviously the Indigenous...
It's the flag. Yeah.
They also had this as a old heritage jumper as well because they wore it way back.
Oh, really?
Way back in World War days. So
effective. Simple but effective.
Simple but effective. Very good. Good design. Good colours. It's well done. It looks great on field.
I'd say a 9.
A 9.
Yeah, I really like that. Jesus.
And then we've got
moving on.
Sydney's.
Moving on. 1.
The Blue Waffles have returned.
Just moving on.
The Blue Waffles have returned, Em. If you don't know what Blue Waffles are.
With a vengeance. No, don't look it up. Whatever you do, don't look at
not Google
I can't look at it. Moving on. Moving on. I can't. What is Sydney doing?
The thing with Sydney is they wear the same design 2 years in a row. At least. So they've only worn, I think, 4 designs since it started.
I think they would come up with something better than that.
Yeah. Problem, I think, also is because they're wearing Nike, which is apparently not a problem for Collingwood, is that they have to order them so far in advance. So they've just gone, we'll just wear the same one a couple of years in a row so we don't have to worry about ordering more jumpers, different designs. They need to can that idea because when they come out with these blue waffle jumpers, they should have got rid of them immediately. Especially after we baked them last time.
It's terrible.
Yeah, not good. So Em's given this one a 1. West Coast.
I actually really like that.
It's not bad.
That is really pretty.
It's not bad at all.
You're going to hate me for this.
No, probably not.
I'll give you a 10.
What?
I like that. That is really pretty. That colours and everything just works so nicely. Look at the eagle.
It's pretty cool.
That is a really nice jumper. That's probably the best thing they've done all year.
After just watching him lose by 171 points, I think
It's the best thing they've done all
it
year.
would have to be the best thing
I
they've
know. I
done.
really like that. I really like that. Like just the detail in the eagle, the everything. That's really nice. The
10
colours and everything just
10's
suit.
a big call. 10 means that they can't do any better than this.
I'll put them on a 9.
A 9?
I'll put them on a 9, and then at the end I'll make a decision if I
Oh.
think it's the best. Okay, I'll put them on a 9, and then there's a top 3. So far we've got 2 9.5s, 2 9s, and a 9.5.
Yes.
And then I'll decide the best from
All
there.
right.
Okay.
Fair
okay.
enough.
We won't go all out.
All right.
Okay.
Last one. Western Bulldogs.
No.
No?
No. That's definitely not in the top 10. No.
I don't mind it. It's all right. I like that they've changed up the red and the white stripe. I think that suits
Stop
well.
trying to make it sound better than it is.
All right, 1 to 10 BM.
That is a 2.5 if you're
2.5.
lucky. Just no.
All right, so we'll revisit.
Okay, so we got West Coast.
Hang on. We will revisit the bottom. The worst one that you've said
Oh, it's a blue waffle.
was the Blue Waffle Sydney jumper.
1.
Second was the North Melbourne.
Yep.
And then third would be the Western Bulldogs jumper.
Yes.
So they're the bottom 3. Now, top 3, we've got Port Adelaide,
St Kilda.
and
Eagles.
West Coast. Now, before you make your choice, I'm going to read out the official votes on the top 3. We'll just
Okay.
say top 3.
Okay.
We'll start with bottom 3 first. And this might surprise you, actually, because you had one of these clubs very high. You had Gold Coast at an 8. On equal bottom of the voting was the Sydney Blue Waffles
Yeah, of course.
and the Gold Coast.
No.
Saints.
So you can't put them two together.
Mm,
That's bullshit.
yeah.
I call a redo.
There was voters that Gold Coast and Sydney were the
That's
worst 2
bullshit.
designs of
Nah,
Indigenous.
Gold Coast wasn't that bad. I thought Gold Coast was quite nice.
I thought Gold Coast was quite good. I don't think they deserve to be that low.
No. No one deserves to be that low with them.
All right, and then from there,
You're getting rather aggressive with that phone holder.
I was through that then. Then you've got Collingwood in the bottom 3, equal with North Melbourne.
Oh, no. No. Stop pairing them up. No. North Melbourne, Collingwood. Sydney Swans.
Falling off the edge.
I can't go any further, but there's a bit more further down. A bit down there. No.
This is the official
What is
voting.
wrong with
Official
people?
voting, Em. So
What is wrong with them?
then you've got Brisbane, GWS,
Mm.
Melbourne, and Richmond
Mm.
all in the next group.
Mm.
And then we have Adelaide.
Mhm.
Adelaide, Fremantle,
Mhm.
Geelong. They're in and Western Bulldogs in the next group as well. Not impressed. Next group, it doesn't exist. So next group is Hawthorn.
Okay.
Hawthorn and Port Adelaide. So the top 3 jumpers that were voted on,
Actually, I think I put Port at a 9 too, didn't I?
you put Port as a 9.5.
Yeah, so I've got West Coast, Port, and Saints.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I thought
So
we
the
missed
top 3, yeah.
Port.
Top 3 voted jumpers officially were an absolute runaway for number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll actually do more than 3 because it was equal voting. So an equal third was Essendon,
Mm-hmm.
Hawthorn.
Oh, no, see, so I put Essendon. That's what I'm saying. We missed Port because I had Essendon as a 9 too.
Did you?
Yes.
All right. Well, so okay,
So I've got 4.
you got 4 then.
Yes.
So equal third, they've got Hawthorn, Essendon, Port Adelaide,
Mm-hmm.
and then second
Mm-hmm.
is West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
and then first was an absolute runaway of St Kilda.
I get that. I see why.
So it's funny actually that your voting wasn't actually too far away
No.
from the 8,000 votes that were cast, and you've got Port Adelaide, West Coast, and St Kilda and Essendon as your top 4, which they had as well. It's quite funny. Now, your choice here is you've got Port Adelaide, Sydney, Port Adelaide, Sydney, Port Adelaide, St Kilda, West Coast, and Essendon.
Mm-hmm.
Try and give them a 1 to 4.
Can I just do them as like first to fourth?
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. So I'd say 4 would be Essendon.
Okay.
Who else did I have? I had Essendon,
Sydney.
Saints.
Friggin'
Stop saying Sydney. Mate, Sydney
Blue
are
waffles are
down
stuck in my head.
here. Sydney's down here. They're gone.
So we got Essendon at 4.
Yes.
At 3, there's St Kilda, West Coast, or Port Adelaide.
Say next would be. I'm gonna have to have a look at them again.
While she has a look.
Sorry, I'm trying not to like take too much time. So yeah, I'd
This is
put that
really
as a
important.
4.
Yep. Essendon's at 4.
My next one would be. My next one I'd say would be Saints. I do like it, but I really like Port Adelaide's.
So Saints at 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you got West Coast or Port Adelaide as 1 and 2.
I really like West Coast jumper. I'm going to go second, Port, West Coast first.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's the first and only time West Coast will finish first in anything this year,
Yeah.
except for first draft.
First
pick.
time you'll ever hear me say the West Coast. But that's really nice. Like, it's really nice. The colours and everything just works so well. I do like the Saints, but I just think the design in West Coast is just that much more.
All right. Well, fair enough. I'm not sure I would have voted the same way as you, but you voted very, very similar to the rest of the country. So my opinion doesn't matter.
Nobody asked for your opinion.
No, it's not why we do this show. Emma, we have your favorite topic now. So no, don't say it because it's not that. It is your favorite topic, which may make you rage.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
There's more. What have I missed out on?
We are on the topic of scammers.
You already upset me with the cut up jumper. I told you I'll walk out that door.
So a few months ago, we talked about a particular scammer that is scamming, or a particular person who we believe may be scamming. Now we know that it's been so long now that there's no way around it. However, we didn't name this person. So Blake Cook is a good friend of ours at the show. And we talked about how Blake was being led on a wild goose chase, we'll say. And we've been asking a lot, has it been resolved? Keep getting messages or screenshots of messages being sent to this person, and it's not happening.
Blake's a very patient man too.
Extremely
I would have lost my shit by now.
I would have lost my shit a long, long time ago. I think it dates back to, I don't know.
September or so, isn't it?
Something like that. From my notes here, looking, yeah, you're right. You're looking about September, which is stupidity that it's been that long. But this person, I've dealt with him a couple of times, didn't have too many issues. But apparently, everybody goes rogue at some point because this is not the only person that we're going to talk about, rather. So Blake has given this gentleman an extremely long time opportunity to go right, and he did not. It has still just been led on a wild goose chase. So, Ethan Coombs is your scammer for the day. Number 1, Ethan Coombs. If you see this person, I would thoroughly recommend avoiding at all costs. The man is a Gold Coast supporter, Gold Coast collector. And as I said, I've dealt with him and didn't have any troubles, but unfortunately, all it takes is one really bad experience. And I even gave him an opportunity myself. I messaged him and said, you need to do good by Blake. I will call you out in the podcast. Didn't respond to me at all. has read it, and I've asked Blake a few times, is it okay? And he's had enough as well. So Blake, been a patient man, and said, "Yep, no, call him out. It's ridiculous."
Is he ever going to get his money back?
At this point, does it look like it?
It's theft.
It is theft. And actually, Blake said that in one of his messages. He said, "Hey, mate, just looking into sending all the info to the police
Good.
as what you have done is stolen. Just wanted to let you know."
Good.
Ethan messaged back and said, "I'll send it first thing in the morning."
So he's fucking admitting to not sending it.
This is 3 months later. And Blake said, "That'd be great. Thanks." And it just didn't happen, obviously. Yeah, didn't happen. He then said, he actually did it again. He sent in the same message, I don't know how long later. Ethan said, "I'm not currently at home. I can have one of your guys pick them up, or I can send them as soon as I'm back." Blake said he can get someone to pick them up whenever works for you. What's the address? And never happened. No response. For about a week or so, 2 weeks. And then Ethan responded, "I'm out at the moment, but I get back in a few days. Jumpers are on my chair at home. Might be able to see if I can get Mum to arrange to send them to you."
So again, still not sent.
Nope. Let's have a chat with her. And then Blake just said, again, really nicely, "Thanks, mate. That would be great. It's dragged on long enough." Nothing has happened since then either. And that was back in April. So you've had more than your fair share of opportunity, Ethan. Screw you. Anyone who is a scammer like this, wasting people's time, can get fucked. Do not ever contact me. And hopefully, if you are out there listening, you will never deal with Ethan if he ever messages you. He does not deserve the time that you would give to him in any capacity because he is a piece of shit.
You know, I'd rage, but you know how I said the Sydney Swans jumper is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's past that jumper.
6 feet deep.
No, that's a bit deeper.
Oh, the Titan?
Um,
Too soon?
bit past the Titan.
Bit past the
A
Titan.
little bit past the Titanic.
Mm.
Actually, I kind of wish you were on that boat.
Jesus.
Because you probably have money to go on that boat because you took that money off our friend. So, no, actually, do you know what? I was in a calm mood, but I'm not anymore. Screw you.
Screw you.
Screw you, you piece of shit. Like, how about you go and talk to Mummy and ask Mummy for some money because you obviously need money.
Yeah.
Actually, your mummy probably doesn't even want to talk to you anyway because she probably thinks you're a piece of shit. That's probably why she hasn't sent the jumpers because Mummy doesn't talk to you because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, Ethan, you've screwed yourself now.
Who?
Ethan?
Who?
Ethan.
Who?
Ethan?
No, we don't know him.
Oh. Well, you made a mistake, and hopefully you learn from this. You come out and apologise to everybody publicly. You send Blake his jumpers, and you make good. Because otherwise, this is going to stick around for a very long time. Video doesn't go away. Hopefully, this gets to everybody, and they do not deal with you because you don't deserve it. And I know I certainly won't be dealing with you ever again.
Can you like beep out words?
I can.
Because Blake loves my swearing so much.
Okay.
There's a thing you call these people.
Is it? Okay. Well, for those people out there who can lip read, I apologise. I can't bleep out the lip reading. However, Em, please take it away.
I need to take a deep breath in here. Hang on.
Prepare thyself for Emma's rage. Ethan, this goes out to you, my friend, old buddy, old pal.
And Blake, this is for you because you love my swearing so much. Get the counter out. There's a word for Ethan, and it's not Ethan. It's not his name anymore. We'll just keep calling him multiple times. Just call him a big fucking past the Sydney Swans jumper. Should have been exploded on the Titan thing. Put him at the bottom of the ocean. You're just a You know, I see a lot of vaginas when I work, and I've never seen them as big as you. You're a big
Oh.
double.
Right. Well, so we're off to a good start with the
You
scammers.
should do. You should record that before you put the beepy beepy beep 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 thing in, and send it to Blake and be like, "This is coming up for you." Give him the full force of it. Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do in the editing process this week. Now, hang on, Em. You've got yourself all wild up about this C word. However,
You need to tell him that's what I said. You ruined it now. How are they supposed to lip read?
Cocker Spaniel. Em,
Cow?
it gets worse.
Oh, God.
You may think he's probably the worst scammer out there. He's not, believe it or
So
not.
there's more.
Next, and it's worse.
Oh, God,
Again.
I can't take this.
This person, Alex Kurtz, probably Kurtz, I don't know. Coutts, Alex Kurtz, has sold multiple Carlton jumpers
Mm-hmm.
to multiple people,
Mm-hmm.
just like others have done before.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, I think, has got something like $12,000 off people, because he's sold high-end Carlton jumpers over and over and over again to different people, and they've only realised this because Andy Munro actually posted to stay away that he has posted these he's sold these multiple jumpers to multiple people at multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of people just keep saying, yeah, he sold it to me too, me too, me too, me too. And he's got probably 5 or 6 jumpers on there that he's just sold over and over and over again on Gumtree as well.
You can report him on Gumtree.
Yeah, well, he's in court, and it was actually quite funny that all this group of people all got together to come up with a plan to do something.
Did they?
Well, his dad was actually on the board of Carlton back in the day as well. So that is not something that his
What a
family would be
twist.
proud of.
What a twist. What a dumb fuck.
So he's obviously got these pretty crazy jumpers, like this M&M jumper from Andy Mackay, some Princess Park jumpers, like insane jumpers. He's got not just regular any day jumpers.
So these people planned like had
yeah,
an attack plan.
I don't know as far as where their attack plan went.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I was asking, I actually put up a post that he's posted all these jumpers again after all this has come out.
Oh, he's still going.
He posted them all on Gumtree for like $900 each, which people would probably pay.
Hmm.
And the next day they were up for $400 or $500 each. He's obviously just trying to get any amount of money he can out of people.
He's desperate
knowing
now.
that he's not going to send it to them.
These same people, if they can find him on Gumtree, every time an advert pops up, report it for scam, report it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they don't do anything about it. Like,
If
I've
they can prove
reported
them-
stuff
no,
on
but if they
Facebook so
can-
many times, and they don't give a shit.
But if they can prove the messages and the pictures of the same jumpers and the same person,
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. They all got together and they created the big chat where they were
Mhm.
going to come up with a plan, take it to a court or
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
and deal with it. It's actually funny when I posted that photo of all the jumpers that he had on Gumtree. Matt Harvey then posted a photo of Alex sitting in a courtroom on that day for something. I don't know what he was in trouble for, but he was in
Wow.
court for another charge. So,
yeah.
yeah. So unfortunately, Alex did have a name in the collecting community back in the day.
Oh, you don't anymore.
No. Well, he does, but it's not a good one. So it looks like drugs have got the best of him, got a hold of him, and he's had to go and make a lot of money as quick as he can to
Yeah.
probably
Keep his drug addiction going.
either keep his drug addiction going or pay his drug dealer.
It's
I
kind of
assume.
sad. Like, I don't want to give him an out to doing it, but drugs really fuck with you. Like,
Absolutely.
they really mess with you. And unfortunately, when you're on drugs, it doesn't matter how you're going to get the money. They'll do anything to get it.
Mm.
You know, that's why people break into cars and take stupid shit. Like, they will do whatever they can to sell to get. So it's shit. Don't deal with him. But in a way, it's kind of sad.
Mm.
It's kind of really sad.
It's sad, but he knows what he's doing.
Knows what he's doing.
He's
It's just
scamming people.
really sad, unfortunately, that that's what's happened to him. But it doesn't make it any better.
No. He's scammed a lot of people, and yeah. Fortunately, these people are never going to see their money again, more than likely. And he's made a ton of money out of people. And it looks like he's going to continue trying. But do your very best to avoid Alex at all costs.
Once we actually name and shame these people, which we've done now to 3 people, we should actually make a list and put them on it, their names,
Mm.
and put it somewhere like that's visible for all people to see.
Yeah, for sure. So avoid Ethan Coombs and Alex Courts.
Sorry, what was the first one?
Ethan Coombs.
No, he doesn't go by that now. Cow.
Cow. Yeah.
Cow.
How now, brown
Cow,
cow.
brown cow. Can't say it now. The only word I can say.
All right. Well, that is it for the scammers today.
Do you know what we can tell you? And you don't have to beat this one out. Do you know what he is?
What?
He's a see you next Tuesday.
He's a see you next Tuesday indeed, and we will see you next Tuesday. No, I'm just kidding. It's not over yet, Em, because we now have our favourite segment.
Mail day.
Mail day.
It is indeed mail day, and we only have the one mail day for you today, which I'll throw to Emma right now. Em, 3, 2, 1, go. Nice catch. All right, this is it.
What is happening?
As I said, I've had a few sent to me in the last few weeks since we've got back, but they've all been opened.
He also pretends he hasn't opened this one, but I'm going to out you. You've opened it. You couldn't help yourself, could you? Did you not think that the little hole was going to prove that you opened it?
No, I just couldn't help myself, but I did it in a way that you could have kept that secret very well.
We're outing scammers today.
Stop this editing for me. You're killing me here. All right, Em. Well, you've done an amazing job at opening that package.
Did you see that? It's just one
so smooth.
nail.
Just fingernails. Yep. Open her up. See what's in the package number 1 and only one today. Whee. Ooh.
Silky.
Silky. There it is. Some may have immediately drawn their eye directly to the left and seen the AFL Grand Final 2016 patch.
You tell me before I turned it round.
Adhered to the jumper. This is the first, Em. This is the first time I have actually got a Grand Final jumper from a winning team. I have had something along the lines of probably 17, 18, something along the line of 17 or 18 Grand Final jumpers. This is the first time I've actually had a winning one. This, however, is of the non-playing player, Rock Smith.
I thought you were going to say Rory Lobb. I was going to be like,
Rock Smith, who did not play that game. However, the jumper does show signs of having been worn. So, like you would see in a lot of player issue jumpers or Grand Final jumpers, you can't see it, unfortunately. A lot of Grand Final jumpers nowadays, you'll find that you can see that. You'll find that they have just repatched the jumpers that they wore throughout the year. Very odd, or fairly odd, that they'll just repatch brand new jumpers because they generally just reuse ones that they've worn throughout the year. And that's it. They patch those jumpers up, auction them off, or I don't really know what they did with this one in particular after the game. But they ended up in my hands. So
threads pulled. I can see one just above the AFL logo.
No one can hear you because you're not near the microphone.
I'm talking to you.
Oh, thanks. What did you hold the Grand Final logo up? Nice.
Said there's a thread pulled above and then there. Threads pulled.
Yeah. So as you can see, it does have signs of having been worn. And you can actually see, believe it or not, in that light that Em's holding up, you can see the outline where the piece of plastic adhesive would have been put down before they peeled it off. So you can see where that was actually laid on the jumper, right above the logo.
Oh.
So that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever noticed that. No? So that is our mail day for today. One and only mail day, 2016 Grand Final, player issue, Rock Smith.
Well, it was mail day for me and everyone else, but you opened it early.
I did. I couldn't help myself. I needed to see it.
You say I have no control with chocolate. You have no control.
I also have got a few other mail days, which I'll just
Here we go.
quickly show you.
Let me just brag about my stuff.
Well, we're talking about the Indigenous jumpers. How M didn't like our Fremantle
I didn't
one.
say I didn't like it. I said it's not my favourite.
Well, this is the Clash version of Fremantle's Indigenous jumper.
I find it like that.
I quite like it.
It
And
looks better than the purple.
as mentioned, we did say there was stories involved. This is actually Alex Pierce's story. He started out in
Oh, really?
Tasmania. Yeah.
Indigenous.
Yes,
Indigenous boy.
he is.
Didn't know that.
So the Tasmanian, the Tasmanian map down there is from where he started, and it's his journey throughout his career. Yeah, I don't know exactly how, but the rest of it is all his
It's
journey.
really cool. I feel bad now.
Signed on the front by Matthew Johnson, who I think is going to be an absolute star. Really exhibits some really good skills already. So, yeah, really, really good design. I quite enjoy it. Really nice jumper. And the Bank West logo actually goes all right on the white, I think. Don't mind it.
Yeah, see, I prefer it in the white.
Actually, I like it on the back of the purple jumpers too. And I've got a bunch of Perth Wildcat stuff as well, which I'll quickly show you. Some of the better stuff. That is one of the Heritage warm-up tops. Ollie Hayes Brown wore this one on the bench because he didn't get a game, sadly. There's some of the better stuff, as I said. I got a bunch of stuff through the Perth Wildcat sale where they sell off all of their player-worn stuff through the year. This is a Brady Manick away jersey. Brady was actually great for us, eventually. This one is a very interesting one, Em.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you'd actually really like. And it is a Space Jam themed jersey.
Looney Tunes.
No, well, it's Space Jam. So, as you can see, Sylvester on the side there. It's got all the Looney Tunes stuff all over it, including on the bottom, the whole team of Looney Tunes. And then on the inside is the Space Jam logo. So, yeah, Space Jam themed round they did, and they wore that in game, which is very interesting. Last one is a Pride round jersey. So it's exactly the same as our home jersey, except for the champion logo has the Pride flag on it, which is pretty cool. And this one is a Luke Travers, who has bailed on Wildcats off to Melbourne United. So we are no longer a fan of Luke Travers, but we hope he does well. However, we actually hope he goes off to the NBA and doesn't play for our awful rivals in the Melbourne United. That is Mail Day for today.
Mail Day.
Mail Day. Thanks, Em. Next segment, Em,
Segmented.
is...
Ooh. Hello.
It's going to get comfortable.
Where's your hat, by the way?
I just got a haircut. So I've been wearing a hat for the last few episodes because I have not had very good hair at all. It's been god-awful. So I finally got a haircut, literally an hour before we came on. I got my hair done. So I'm showing it off.
Ooh.
Because it looks pretty.
Good for you.
However, Em said I need to do something about my face.
Yeah, you do.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Fix your face.
All right, Em. It's time now for viewer questions.
Trippy.
Thank you. Question 1, Em.
Question 1.
Let's do it.
By the way, we need to give a shout out.
Do we?
Yes.
Go on then.
Well, by the time you edit this, I don't know what day it'll be, but on the 24th, Saturday, was Mr. Bunyip Man, Matthew Anthony Langley, his birthday.
Ah, the Bunyip Bandit himself.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Matthew Langley. He has actually told me, he sent me a message and said, from now on, please call me Matthew Langley.
Oh, okay.
Because Matthew Anthony was so his Facebook friends or his school friends could find him on Facebook.
Ah.
So he would like to just be referred to now on as Matthew Langley.
The Bunyip Man.
But yes, we are going to call you the Bunyip Bandit from now on. So happy birthday to the Bunyip Bandit. Yeah, that was right.
Yeah.
Matthew Langley, you're a champion. Please keep doing you. And we hope you get better. We know you've had some health troubles as well. But we really hope you're on the mend. Em, question number 1.
Sorry, question number 1 from our mate Jeff Butcher. If you were to start the AFL's 20th franchise, assuming Tasmania takes green, what colours are you choosing for the playing strip?
I know he's got 2 questions there, so I'll try and answer the first one because that's a difficult question because all the colors are pretty much covered now. However, there probably was. Yeah, that's a good question, and I reckon I've thought about it before. Only now it's just completely gone out of my head as to what sort of color scheme I'd quite like. But I reckon, and it's a bit difficult because Port Adelaide have kind of jumped around with a few different colors. I'd almost say black would be a great starting point, but Port Adelaide now I've got black, so I'd almost be inclined to steal teal and go with a teal.
But then Port Adelaide have teal.
Yeah, so Port Adelaide still have teal, a little bit of teal on their jumpers, of course, in their logo as well. So it's a hard one. Teal, but I would have said green, but Tasmania will definitely take green. That's a good one, Jeff. Very good one. So I'm going to go outside the box. And I'm going to go pink. Pink.
Okay.
Let's go hot pink.
All right.
And black will just go really, really well.
Yeah.
They would certainly stand out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As Em pulls her pink out.
Like I stick out like a sore thumb.
I'm going to go pink. So I don't know where they'll be from. Let's say it's from Northern Territory. Northern Territory have a team. I think pink could. I don't know how that pink would go into Northern Territory, but
the pink looked good on when they did the breast cancer round.
Yeah,
that looked good. I thought the pink looked nice.
Yep, I'm going pink. Let's go right out there, Jeff, and we'll say let's have a pink team in the AFL. Let's do it. And I mean, they can do a lot of different things for charities with their club.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
They will have the cancer charities covered for the rest of the time. And Em would probably follow them.
Yes, I would.
Thanks for that question, Jeff. Second parter.
Jeff? You said Teff.
Def. Thanks, Jeff.
God, we can't speak English today.
Second parter.
Second
it's
part.
Not even that late. Oh, it is 11 o'clock.
If you had to swap collections with one other collector, who would you choose and why?
That's super easy. And it should be quite obvious if you've listened to me in previous episodes.
Matt Harvey?
No.
Oh, what?
No. So Matt Harvey's got some great stuff, don't get me wrong. He's only been collecting for 2 years.
Okay.
But Rob Lee is the man.
Oh, okay.
Rob Lee's the godfather of collecting. He's still got a lot of stuff, but he's also just got some absolute quality.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to swap with anybody, it would be Rob, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if he's got 300 or 400 jumpers like I do, but I would give up.
But the value is there.
Well and truly, I would give up $300 or $400 jumpers for his stuff, even if it was only 50, in an absolute heartbeat, because his quality is bar none. Just second to none. Rob Lee, he's the man. Thanks, Jeff, for your questions.
Blake Cook.
Yes.
Have you ever just thought of selling it all?
Seriously, no, but...
It's funny you say that, though. The other day you did make a comment about something. I'm not really going to go too much into what happened, but a jumper you wanted that you almost bought kind of got snatched from underneath you, and you were just like, do you know what? Like, I just want to get the last few jumpers I need, and I think I'm just done.
Yeah.
Like, you got that frazzled by it. You were like, I just want to get what I need, and I'm just done. Like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I thought about it. I think somebody else asked me the same question the other day as well. Have I thought about it? No, never seriously doing it, but I've certainly slowed down my collecting, and I definitely don't go as hard. I don't go on Facebook, don't go on Marketplace, don't go on eBay, Gumtree, etc. anywhere near as much as I used to. It would be every 90 seconds I would be on one of them. I don't do that anymore because the passion, while is still there for the ones I currently have, and like you say, I'm all about just getting the ones that I'm missing now, and then if I see ones that come up that I'm an opportunity to get, I'll try and grab them. But gone is the desire to hunt as frivolously as I once did, because it is no longer as much fun as it was. When you have the opportunity to get something, and someone even says, "Here's it on a platter, go and get it," only to say, oh, I've actually ended up with it. It's downright disheartening that the hobby has come to a point where it's mostly all about how can I get something and then get something out of another person before it's, hey, how can I help this person out?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely changed my collecting habits as far as it's not anywhere near as fun, and it's now anxiety riddled stress. When I see a jumper come up, it's no longer, oh my God, like I can finally get this jumper in my collection I've always wanted. It's now, holy shit, how do I get this jumper before anyone else? I need this.
Mm.
What do I do?
Mm.
Or how am I going to get it before somebody else offers stupid amount of dollars because they're going to try and get it out from underneath you? It's difficult, and I almost don't want to do that anymore. I want to just stay away from it, and just get them as I can. If someone messages me directly a jumper to buy, then that's probably the easiest way for me now, rather than hunting them down and just going through that process of the anxiety riddled moments of trying to get it. I don't want that anymore. There's too much competitiveness out there. There's too many people trying to screw others over. So as far as trying to get rid of them or sell them all off, that's not going to happen. But lowering down the collection and not having as many double ups is something that, yeah, I'll be doing. More to bring in others as well and not to have too many in the cave here. But yeah, lowering the quantity to have a little bit more quality is something I will do. But there will always be jumpers I'll have in the collection. Will never go anywhere until one day maybe my kids will want to see them, and then they'll be here. So I don't want to get rid of them and then give them to the kids. The kids aren't going to get them. That's not happening. But they'll be able to look at them and enjoy them forever. And then when I'm gone, they can do whatever they want with them. But they will be here with me and until the end of time, as far as I'm concerned. So no, never selling them all, Blake. No matter what, even if I'm out of the hobby, that I've just given up one day and gone, nah, I'm out, and I cut off everything, there will still be jumpers in here that I will always want to keep because it's been such a fun hobby up and to a point. Thanks, Blake. And I know that your question was certainly of thought, and I hope you're not thinking the same thing, but I know you're a very quiet collector, and that's probably the best way to do it at this point.
If you give up, I'm going to catch a plane. I don't have much money, but I'm going to fly over there and I'm going to snatch your Player Issue podcast hat off you. Don't do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Blake. Next question.
Jordan Coates. What are your thoughts on having special jumpers made for the gather round?
Love it. Absolutely love it. And I didn't expect it at all. I can't remember who the first club was to do it, or the first one was to come out with one. But I believe there were only maybe 3.
What's the gather round again?
Gather round was when they all literally gathered, all clubs gathered in Adelaide. So the reason why M's not too sure.
That's right. Because we had an extra, we were supposed to have a home game, but it wasn't home because they were all over there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right. So the reason M's not too sure is because we were actually still in America when it was coming up. So the next week, the day we got back. No, actually, so the gather round actually happened before we got back. So we got back, gather round happened, and then we got back, and there was another away game against Adelaide. So we didn't really see it. We didn't really keep up with everything that was happening as far as all the jumpers that were coming out, all this and that. So we did see the Adelaide Crows had a gather round jumper, which is pretty spectacular. And funny enough, it's black. Mostly black. And then we saw Fremantle's gather round jumper come out of nowhere. And I've asked the question a few times. I think you actually read out something earlier that Fremantle wanted to do something a little bit different. So for gather round, they got together this idea of doing this black jumper and put it out there. The real reason they did it is just because it was something special. Gather round being something different, and they had an opportunity over the last couple of years to have a stealth range. Most clubs do have a stealth range where all their clothing is black. Whether they have maybe just a little logo and color on it, or most of the time it's just a real faded logo in the middle. And I've got a lot of that stuff because I think it's really cool, especially on days where the club has played terribly that week and you still want to be a fan but not be too out there that you get abused for it. So you put on the stealth clothing, still supporting the club, but you're not
Advertising
you're not
it.
advertising too much. So they had an opportunity over the last few years to have the stealth range in the store, and I believe it's Oscorp that they've been doing it with. So I think they've always had in mind that eventually they wanted to do a jumper. The club's been talking to the manufacturers about doing that, and this was just an opportunity. Hey, it's different. What jumper do we wear on a neutral ground? We don't know. Like, do we wear the home? Do we wear the away? Unsure. And I think the AFL even said they're going to do a coin flip or something to pick on who was going to choose what jumper to wear. So Freo just said, "Oh, well, we'll just wear this one jumper. It'll just be black." So we don't have an away or a home like this, just a neutral jumper. So it was a great idea. And we saw it on field and thought, what the hell was that? On field, on the TV, I mean, the coverage wasn't great because of where it was. Coverage was pretty bad. It was from a distance. You couldn't see it. It just looked like a black blob.
The purple didn't show up that well.
The purple didn't show up really well at all. So they had the black shorts, the black socks. The good thing is they did the whole kit. Because a lot of times clubs will do the theme jumper, but still wear the home or the away shorts, and it just looks a bit stupid. This time they've done the entire kit. I actually have it over in the corner over there on a mannequin. The whole kit, shorts, socks, and jumper, all on the mannequin of Andy Brayshaw. So I actually got Andy Brayshaw's match worn one, and in person looks amazing. I think it looks fantastic.
Nice.
The front's really good. The back's even better with the number, with the purple outline around the number. Someone actually messaged me during the game, said, "Oh, do you reckon it has a purple outline?" I said, "Doesn't look like it." So no, I don't think so. So that's the problem, is you couldn't see it on TV. So it looks a bit average, but in person it looks amazing. And I think the only other team to do it was Geelong, but their one literally says "Gather Round" underneath the AFL logo, and I think it's got a silhouette of Adelaide on the back and the bottom. That's the only thing they had different. At least it did something, so it's kind of cool. I think they're the only three teams. I could be wrong. Apologies if I am. But I would like to see, because they are doing it again next year, and they're probably going to do it forever after that, that everyone just does a gather round jumper, just a special jumper for that week. I know they already do 7 or 8 jumpers a year, which is already a lot, but people are loving it. But make it crazy. I don't know, Em, if you've seen, and I didn't want to speak about this week, but we will now. If you've seen North Melbourne's Good Friday jumper, we'll put it up on screen now so everyone knows what I'm talking about. Em, I'll show you. It is the most out there thing, and people have made a lot of comments where they've said this thing is an absolute disgrace. The first time I saw it, I said, how good is that?
I don't like the green.
Okay.
The green's a bit weird. It's like they were just like, what can we put in this?
Yeah.
Let's just add some green. But I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
It is so far out there. No one would ever expect it.
It's like the traditional old kangaroo too. Like not that, like they had one with like the boxing kangaroo at one point, didn't they? And stuff like that. Like I like that. It's different.
I think it's tremendous.
Different.
I think that sort of out there design, something like that, every club could do. Just a crazy out there design.
Once a year thing.
Once a year for gather round.
Yep.
Bring out this just nuts design. Maybe get a kid or something to design it, because kids have some crazy creativity. Or
just the players get together and just come up with something. Yeah. And they go, do you know what? We really, and just all take a vote on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all love the 1990s Lightning Carnival jumpers because they were just so out there and just different. And now they're cult following cool. I would love to see something like that for gather around every year. The Crows did it really well this year. They could just do the same thing next year.
I like that.
But I love that idea of having special jumpers for gather round. I'd love to see. I hope they don't all just do one design. Like, I almost feel as though the AFL might say, here's the stuff you need to put on your design. So just have your normal jumper, but put these logos or these things on the jumper, and they all have the same blanket thing. I'd rather just everybody come up with a crazy out there design. Everybody look individual and out there. Just for one time a year, and it could just be a whole lot of fun. I love that idea, and I think it would be great. And of course, it'll go mental at auctions. So it'd be a great opportunity for clubs to make some money and everybody to buy some more merch.
Yeah.
So love it. Absolutely love
I like that.
it. Thank you for your question,
Jordan.
Jordan, appreciate it. Love it.
Last question is from Melb Tigers Collection on Instagram. Do you have many old school 90s, early 2000s Wildcat jerseys in your collection? What is your favourite and how? And do you see many old jerseys getting around in Perth?
So I don't see many at all of any player issue jerseys, especially from the 90s. You just don't see them at all. I do have two, which has actually taken me a long time to get. And the man we spoke about earlier, Rob Lee, was the man who hooked me up with these two jerseys. He really wanted my 1980s James Crawford jersey. I had a James Crawford full kit, shirt, jersey, and shorts. He really, really wanted that, and I really wanted a Ricky Grace jersey because I was mates with Ricky Grace back in the day, and he was a great player, so I wanted a Ricky. Well, he found me a Ricky, not just any Ricky. He found me the 1997 All-Star player issue jersey. He didn't wear it, I don't believe, but it is definitely player issue. They didn't bring out retails of those jerseys. And along with that, he also found me, I think it was a 1998, I believe, Andrew Vlahov jersey as well, which is absolutely incredible. Again, not retailed these jerseys at all. The material was so different. The length of the jerseys is amazing. Totally different than what they are now, because the retail and the player issue jerseys of NBL are almost identical. The only difference being they may be slightly longer, and of course, certain size they'll only wear one size compared to you can get every size in retail. But other than that, the material is exactly the same. Logos, everything the same. It's all sublimated, so you can't really have any difference. I actually emailed the Wildcats this year and said, can we just do something? Put something on the players' jerseys to make them stand out as a player issue jersey, because otherwise you really wouldn't know. Like all of these jerseys I bought in this sale, I wouldn't be surprised if people said, nah, they're just retails. I wouldn't buy those, because they pretty much are. The only difference being they may be slightly longer in cut, and if they wore them on court, then they're game worn jerseys. But other than that, they're almost exactly the same. Again, being spoke to the Wildcats, they said that they don't order retails of most of those players that are out there. So if you can get some other players that don't have retail versions of, they player issue or potential game worn, but then they don't have a lot of value because they're not the highest players. So I do miss those older jerseys because those older ones did have differences to them. Even 2000, I can't remember, it must have been 2010, 11, something like that. I have a Heritage jersey where the jerseys were almost identical except for the material was like a perforated cut. So it is different material to the actual players in the retail jerseys. So, yeah, I do not see very many at all. Melb Tigers collection on Instagram. I appreciate your question. Don't see many of them all. Would love to see a lot more of them, especially the Wildcats early mid 90s jerseys, because they were so good. Yeah, good question. And I love the two I have. And if you have any of any club, show us. We'd love to see them. Good question. Do love to talk about the Perth Wildcats as much as opportunity arises, even if people on here have no idea what I'm talking about, because it is generally an AFL player issue podcast, but it isn't. It's just called Player Issue Podcast, not the AFL Player Issue Podcast. So we can talk about anything player issue on this podcast.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. And it is ours. So, meh.
Do that one.
All right, Em. So, this being the David Mundy episode, episode 16 of the Player Issue
That
Podcast.
you didn't know was the David Mundy episode.
And the man is still there. However, he may be taking a hike shortly, because now it is time for our final segment of the show, and that is What's in the Cave? Let's switch over to the cave wheel now. There it is.
Can you just pick a number between 1 and 2?
Ideally not, because people want to see jumpers that are not the Freo jumpers, right?
Yeah.
So let's spin her up, because it's going to take a while for it to come up with a number. What number are we getting today, Em?
37.
I'm going to hope for 337. Very close.
Oh, I hate you.
Very, very close, as a matter of fact, if it goes a little bit more. Oh, you're lucky. Well, you're not lucky because it's still 197. What's the next one? It's definitely 300 and something. I know. 197, M. While M goes and does a thing, we will fast forward. Dave's dead. Look out, Dave. We'll fast forward while we wait for him to count to 197. We'll be back shortly. Don't run away. It doesn't take long to fast forward. All right. Apparently, M's found 197. It's got an empty coat hanger on it. Do you know what? Actually, that makes me think. This is quite funny that you've done that. So 197. You're up to 197, right? Correct. 197 would be that coat hanger that you're holding on your hand right now belongs to a jumper that's currently in the room. Now I can see in the coat hanger that the jumpers you're looking at is a certain redback jumper. Yep. Have a look around the room, Em, and see what that jumper would be that is not on the coat hanger right now because it lives on a mannequin somewhere in the room.
Ah.
Em's going to go get it. We're actually going to talk about it because this was not planned at all. Not in the slightest way was this planned because I didn't even know that this was a thing until Em said it. So she's off. She's found it in the room. It is hiding behind me, so it's not on the rack because it's living in the room on a mannequin, as I just said to Em. And she's off to get it. It's still on the mannequin. She's going to bring it over. Jumper 100 and Jumper 197. There it is a beautiful purple. This definitely is a different color of purple. Apologies again that it is another Frio jumper, but it is beautiful. It is very, very fitting. Has the program logo on front, which they didn't have last year on their home jumpers or any year prior to that. They had the red Woodside logo. However, last year they wore this as an away jumper with the program logo on front, and then they had a double red back Woodside logos on the back. M's bringing in a white cardboard cutout. I don't know what it is. Whatever could it be? And on TV, this particular jumper, the purple, looks so much brighter. And I did ask a couple about that, and they said, "No, I don't think it is." Well, ask anybody who is a Freo fan that were watching those games, and even in that light, if you can just straighten it up a little bit so it's getting the light properly, it is definitely brighter, 100% brighter. And it's slightly different color or shade of purple. Anyway, the suspense has been held long enough. Why are we so excited about this jumper being number 197 and very fitting that it is? Because it is David Mundy, the great man himself, in episode David Mundy, number 16. His head's too high. There you go. There it is. David Mundy has made an appearance in the cave. G'day, Dave. How you going? Thanks, Barra. Thanks for joining us. As you see, the double red back only ever happened a couple of times last year. 2 or 3 times they wore it. They went against Geelong, GWS. I think they wore it for a third game. I can't remember. But last time this was ever worn, this exact design, this was worn by David Mundy in round 23 against GWS. So super cool. Really, really rare. In future, they'll be super rare because it wasn't that many out there. Only did it for 3 games. And I think it looks fantastic. The double red looks great. And of course, being David Mundy, who can argue with it? What a fantastic jumper. Again, it will never happen again because of the Bankwest logo now coming in to take over programs position on the front of the jumper. So, yeah, it'll never happen again, the double red back. But super, super cool. And what a fitting way to end today's episode 16, with the number 16, David Mundy's episode. What a theme it's been. That's it for today. Emma, thank you for joining us. Hello, welcome back to the show. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Welcome back now. Fuck off.
Anything you'd like to say before we leave? Perhaps about a like and subscribe?
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Em can't do it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and make a comment. Please make a comment. We'll read it out on next week's show.
I will definitely read it out if you call a certain someone a
At this point, she's doing it just to piss me off.
Yeah.
You bastard.
And how you put it is, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Thanks, Em. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and make a comment. Like and subscribe to the show, that is. We have 100. We had 100 before we left. We had 100 on Melanoma March episode. We got our 100.
Oh, yeah?
So if we can get that up a few, would be fantastic.
We certainly could.
Thank you for joining me, Em. We will see you next week on episode 17.
Not a David Mundy episode.
Not a David Mundy, so it's been a good one.
Was that in English?
I don't even know.
That's not a David Mundy episode. That's it, people. We're out because Erin can't speak English anymore.
No, you're right. All right. Thank you very much. See you later. Adios. Goodbye. Ta-ta. Bye.